So these guys started out really rough for me. This is exactly like why you don't do a performance review off of one wear or one test or whatever, like one whatever. A couple of days or a couple of hours, none of that shit. This shoe right here is a prime example of getting better with every wear to the point to where, I'm not gonna say that I love them, but it's close. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got the performance review on the Nike Kobe 3 Protro. This shoe right here is one that I was just super excited to play in because, well, I've never played in them before, so I really have wanted to. Like, out of all the Kobes, the 2s and the 3s are the ones that I've never tried, and out of the 2 that I've never tried, this is the one that I really wanted to play in badly. Like, I can't even explain how badly I've been wanting to play in these for the past however many years. So I was super excited to try these things on. I put them on the first day that I got them. I went out to the court, laced them up, went to go play my first defensive play, and almost broke my mother ankle, man. I was like, yo, what the hell? It was crazy. So yeah, I ended up taking them right off, threw them right back in my bag, and I was like, those things, dude, I'm not playing in those right now. Luckily, I kept giving them some chances. So like I said, the more that I would wear them, the better they would get. It was just one of these shoes that you kind of got to get used to because they don't really make like this anymore. You know what I mean? Like the way that the tooling is. And it was, for me, at least with the way that I had planted my foot that one time, really awkward. But one of the things that they have done to the outsole, which we talked about in the initial video, is that they have kind of like modified the diamond pattern that's down here and everything like that. They've added things, they've strengthened things, they've added patterns where there were none before. And from what I've heard from a lot of people that have played in the originals, some people say that the traction on those were absolutely awful. And then there are other people that swear by them. For me personally, with this particular shoe, the Protro version, since I really don't have the OG like experience to compare it to, all I could say is that the traction on here was fantastic, especially in the forefoot. Like the forefoot area is really solid. Would I take these outdoors? Yes. This is a shoe that I would be confident in wearing indoors or outdoors. Not literally the same pair for both, but if this was my outdoor shoe, I'd be confident in them. And right now they are an indoor shoe for me and I'm confident in them. The one area that I had the problem with was right here. Basically, it is a rubber cupsole. So all of the tooling is rubber, like an Air Jordan 1, a Dunk, and things like that. And yes, I know that some modern shoes do have the cupsole thing, the most recent Air Jordans, the 39 as well as the 40s, but those cupsoles are different than this. Those are softer, more pliable rubbers. They don't feel like a real cupsole, you know what I mean? It's just cupped in the sense that it's cupping the cushioning. Whereas this guy right here feels like an actual cupsole and it plays that way. So slightly clunky at first, and then the roundedness of the outsole is where I got caught. So I basically played some defense, got caught on my heels a little bit, and that just rolled right over. Wasn't the traction, it wasn't stability or anything, it was just my footwork was sloppy right there, because it hasn't happened since. But I will tell you that I was scared of shit. I will be perfectly honest with that. Now the cushioning is another aspect that they definitely have worked on since the original. The original was Phylon with heel and forefoot Zoom Air. This guy right here is Cushlon 3.0. That is the main bed of the foam that's inside that cupsole. And then sitting on top of that is a full length Zoom Strobel. And I will say that the way that they start is, I don't know how to explain it like really properly, but they just felt a little bit weird. Like they kind of felt different, like different than the Kobe ones. I was expecting that kind of ride and that's not what I received. These, you do feel a little bit elevated, especially in the heel. That's one thing that I definitely wish that they had also tweaked, is that the Kobe ones, they shaved down a lot of the thickness of the midsole. You couldn't really see it from the outside, but you could feel it on the inside. It doesn't feel like they did that here. It just feels like that they straight up replaced the foam with a different foam and then added a zoom unit on top of all of that. I really wish that they would have lowered the ride that you get inside the shoe and then added the full length Zoom Strobel just to get you a little bit closer to the ground, because getting used to that higher platform, that higher heel lift was a little bit weird, especially when going from other modern shoes like the Jaw 3s, the Shea 1s, and so on and so forth. However, the way that everything felt was fairly stiff at first, and then the more that I wore them again, they just kind of like get better and better to the point to where when I wear them now, you can, especially if you start to focus on it, like you start to actually notice your feet instead of just play the game. The shoes are bouncy, dude. Like it's just really fun. This is the level of bounce that I was hoping for with the Air Jordan 40 and the 39s. Instead, I feel like those are more of like a mush. So those are like super soft cushionings, which is great for those of you guys that want something like that. This one is just a little bit more on the firmer side, but in a way that still has that kind of like Zoom Air bounce feeling that you're used to. Almost like an Air Jordan 12. Actually, that would probably be the best comparison, is that if you've ever played in a pair of Jordan 12s, that's kind of how this shoe feels. Some people love the 12s. I'm one of those people, but only after the shoe was broken in, much like these. And then some people can hate the 12s. So if you're one of those people, you might not like this. I'm not sure. But yeah, I would say overall that the traction and the cushion are two highlights, but they are two highlights that need to be worked in before they become highlights. So it's a shoe that you definitely got to just kind of like give it time for. You can't just put these on and expect to be like, yeah, that's my shoe. It's going to take a little while before it feels like that. Now the upper on these guys, some people are going to love it. Some people are going to hate it. I was kind of in the middle. I didn't hate the materials or anything. The toe cap itself is a synthetic leather. It doesn't bother me. It flexes well. It moves well. It broke in well. It's been durable so far, so no complaints from a performance side. The rest of the upper is this rubberized like waffle look, snake skin, if you will, like however it is that you want to like visualize this to be, go for it. All I know is that this stuff is strong as and I really like it in that sense. It's very durable, it barely takes damage. It's ultra breathable on top of that because of the way that it's webbed, and it's backed with the mesh liner. The one part about it that I just didn't like was that they're high tops. Like, I am not used to playing in high tops anymore, so this felt like I was playing in a boot. They still kind of do a little bit, even though I've gotten used to it. It's just that when I go from a low top shoe that I absolutely love, like the Donovan Mitchell issue 7s, or something like the Jaw 3s or the Shea 1s, or even the Air Jordan 40, and then I jump back into these guys and I'm just like, my ankles are like, bro, what the f are you doing? And so this to me feels foreign at this point, and I don't like it. It's just kind of like a weird feeling having your foot like wrapped and locked into something as cumbersome as this when you're used to having full free mobility. So yeah, my ankles at this point in time are very strong. I work on them quite often. I make sure that they're as strong as possible because I have had plenty of ankle issues in the beginning of my basketball days and stuff like that. And it's always been in high tops for some reason, and these are no different. So when I put these on, my ankles feel like they're relying on something that they shouldn't instead of themselves. So I just have to kind of like go out there and ignore it, but I feel way better in lows, which has me really excited for when this shoe drops in a low. The thing that sucks is that we got to wait till next year. Why do we gotta wait so long? I think it's because they messed up when they did the Kobe 9 Protro, where they did the low and the high at the same damn time practically, and nobody bought the highs because they got the lows. And I think that that would happen right with this one, and I think they learned their lesson. Maybe. Now the overall support is solid, the fit is great, the platform is fairly wide, at least in the forefoot. The heel, like I was saying before, is a little bit rounded, so I think that that is kind of like an issue. One that you can get past, but one that is still present. Like a little outrigger right there would have been cool. It would have messed up the visual, you know what I mean? Like they wouldn't look like the originals, so I get it. I'm just saying, I didn't like that. The heel counter is strong enough. The upper is unnecessary, like this ankle area and everything like that, but like I said, if you like having things wrapped and suffocating around your ankles and restricting all of your actual range of motion, then you're gonna dig it. And then there is still a carbon fiber midfoot plate. Some people have been saying that the carbon fiber moves all the way up to the forefoot in the originals. I've never seen a pair of these like completely taken apart or anything like that, and I can't tell if it's just that the rubber is firm and hard, you know what I mean, because they're so old. But these, they flex okay, whereas these, they flex a lot. So again, I don't know if that's from age, but if I were to guess, I would say that whatever that forefoot carbon piece that people are saying is in the original may not be in the Protro. I have this tooling setup right here, which is from the 2K4, so a shoe that Kobe wore quite often, and I would assume that these were similar setups because this is basically what I'm picturing when people are talking about like that midfoot carbon fiber plate running up to the forefoot. So again, I don't feel like this is in this. It might be, maybe it's like softer carbon fiber, I'm not sure. But I also don't know for a fact that it is in this. I'm just going based off of what people have asked, and I'm telling you right now that I've never seen these taken apart like my 2K4s, so I'm not sure. Now in terms of sizing, I went true to size. That's what works best for me, so that's what I would recommend. Wide footers, you may want to try these on if possible, just because of the cupsole aspect. If you have any like width spillage, you know what I mean? Like you might feel the rubber like pushing underneath with your foot and it might be uncomfortable. So I would try them on for you personally, if possible. Again, I don't know how well these are like moving in stores or anything like that, but if you can, try them on. If not, go true to size and hope for the best. But everybody else, true to size, you should be good. And with all that being said, what is today's viewer submitted question of the day?
So 4 years ago, we happened to cover this particular question in the Anthracite Jordan 5 video. Today's question is...
We had questions of the day back then? Oh.
You and I were just talking.
Oh,
and
okay.
You happened to go over this in such a way. Let's see how mature we've gotten in how you answer this question.
Okay, good luck.
I've always wondered, what is the ideal true to size for shoe sizing? People seem to have different preferences to how they choose sizes. But
is this my finger in the back thing?
You know what the comment section's gonna be about.
That's only if they made it to that point in the video. And if they made it to that point in the video and you didn't hit the like button, shame on you. Aww. Use that finger, as dirty as it might be now, and hit the like button, all right? That's the way to figure it out.
But what really is the proper way to go about it?
The first thing is to measure your foot with a branding device. So that's the first thing. You can measure your length and your width. The problem is that it doesn't matter what your foot measures at on that device if the manufacturer is not making shoes to those measurements. You know what I'm saying? So like an Adidas and a Nike, like they are off by a little bit to each other in the same size. And you can see that when you look at like say their centimeters and things like that versus their US size range. That's the first thing, is that measure yourself there just to get yourself a better understanding of your foot's actual length. Like, because if your toe goes all the way to the 9, then you should wear a 9.5. If it's just under the 9, then you would be able to get away with the 9 style, like fit, depending on the model and the brand. So it's not like an overarching thing, which leads me to do the finger in the back method, which I know everybody likes to laugh at. See, that's not me being immature. You know what I mean? That's not me being immature. That's y'all being immature. So I wasn't being dirty. I know what it sounds like. Like, that's what I'm saying, is that when you measure your foot on the branding device, right? And then you put your foot inside of a shoe that is that size that it says that you should be. It's not the branding device being wrong. It's the manufacturer of the footwear being off from the branding device's measurement. So like the easiest way then to decipher things is to push your foot all the way to the front so that your toes are touching the edge. Then you take your finger, no lube required, all right, for all you dirty mother, and you stick it in the back. If you can fit one finger back there smoothly, you're good. If you could fit your one finger and it's tight, then that means that the shoes are too tight. And if you could fit more than one finger, that means that them are too big. You know what I mean? You got a big old gap in there that shouldn't be there. That means that when your shoe is on your foot and it's tied up, and when you start playing the sport, you're gonna have shifting inside the shoe. And that's when you get heel flop or whatever. So the easiest way, because the branded device is one way, but the shoe manufacturers are not to be, they're not doing it to that scale, you know what I mean? Push your foot and your toes all the way to the front, take a finger, put it in the back. If it's a perfect fit, trust me, bro, you'll know, okay? You'll know. If the one finger's tight, the shoes are too tight. If you can fit more than one finger back there, the shoes are too big. It's the easiest thing in the world. Is that good enough?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
But anyways, that's just my recommendations. If you've got a different piece of advice, feel free to leave it down below in the comment section. I just feel like the finger method is the simplest and easiest way that everybody could do no matter what. Doesn't matter what brand you're trying on. Do the finger method. You'll get your shoes to fit. On top of all of that, the Kobe 3 Protro, it's a very solid performer. So if you've played in them, especially if you played in the originals, I think that's where I'm most curious. If you played in the originals and the Protros, what are your comparative thoughts? I need to know, because these took me a while to get used to on all fronts, and I do really like them. I play in them often, and I wouldn't play in them if I didn't like them. Straight up, like they would not even be in my gym bag. But sound off below and let me know. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys supporting the channel and everything. We will catch you guys in the next one. So until then, y'all have a good one.